Hello everyone, I'm Dave Robbins with Endtime Ministries, and this is your Prophecy in the News. I have people call me all the time that say, how do you know that we're in the end times? I was actually teaching a Bible study last night, and the lady asked me, she said, how do we even know we're in the end times? I get that question all the time. And I went over with her several of the prophecies that are coming to pass right now, and how there were about 100 prophecies foretelling the first coming of Jesus Christ. And everyone came to pass in intricate detail. Now we've got about 1,000 prophecies concerning the second coming of Jesus Christ, and just like the first coming, the second coming, the prophecies are coming to pass, just one right after another, line upon line, precept upon precept, every crossing of the T, every dotting of the I. So, when you look at today, what's one of the ways that I could prove to you that we're living in the end time? Well, back in the 60s, there's a prophecy in the Bible, Revelation chapter 13, verses 1 through about 7 or 8. The Bible prophesies a world government is going to be formed, and that the Antichrist will rule over that world government just before the second coming of Jesus Christ. And it would take me a while to explain it, but there are 7 heads on this beast. Each head represents a nation or a kingdom that would be represented in this world governing body. There's Great Britain, the 4 heads of the leopard, which are Germany, the bear, which is Russia, and then, of course, the 10-horn kingdom, which is the European Union or a revived Holy Roman Empire. So there are 7 heads on this beast. Well, the Bible says that one of those heads was wounded nigh unto death. And so Brother Baxter's studying this, and a lot of people teach, well, that's the Antichrist. He's going to be killed, brought back to life. Well, the Bible doesn't actually teach that. The Bible just says that one of these nations, or these heads on the beast, which represented nations, would be wounded nigh unto death. And so as Irvin Baxter was studying this in the mid-60s, he was thinking, God, how's all this going to work? Well, he started seeing articles about the Berlin Wall. We know that Germany, the 4 heads of the leopard, represent Germany and the 4 different Reichs of Germany, the 4th Reich, which is now rising. And so he was looking at this, and he started seeing articles where major news organizations like Time Magazine and some of the news organizations like that, the writers were calling the Berlin Wall a rusty knife wound of this nation, because, of course, they had split, after World War II, they split Germany in half, or they split Berlin in half, and put the Berlin Wall in there. So they were calling it a rusty knife wound that needed to be healed. So Brother Baxter's looking at all this and thinking, man, all these nations are represented in this world governing body that's coming in the future, and I'm looking for a wound that needs to be healed. And then they start talking about the Berlin Wall. All these major news sources start calling it a wound that needed to be healed. So he felt like God showed him that the Berlin Wall was the wound that would be healed. So in 1986, of course, at that time, the Berlin Wall was the symbol of the Cold War. Russia against the United States. Everything hinged on the Berlin Wall right there. If you understand history at all, you know what I'm talking about. So, in 1986, Irvin Baxter wrote a book called A Message for the President. In this book, in the World Government chapter, he talks about, he actually gives the prophecy, 1986, this is when this was published, about the Berlin Wall coming down, and that would be the deadly wound that would be healed, and that event would be the catalyst that would launch us into the New World Order. So when he published the book in 1986, all of his friends said, Irvin, what are you doing? This hasn't even happened yet. And he said, look, it's in the prophecies in the Bible, and if it's prophesied in the Bible, it's going to come to pass. I'm putting it out in a book. And so he put it out in 1986. Well, in 1989, 3 years later, when the wall was torn down, Gorbachev, George H.W. Bush, and believe it or not, the Pope went into private meetings, and when they come out of their meetings about 19 or 20 days after the wall was torn down, they were talking about the New World Order, and we were launched into the New World Order at that time, or world government. It was blatant. They were talking about it openly. Well, Brother Baxter had published this in 1986, 3 years before, so people started calling Endtime Ministries, or Brother Baxter at that time, and saying, hey, how did you know that? And he said, it's in the prophecies of the Bible, and I know it's going to come to pass. And so that is just, and actually that event, this book, is what launched Endtime Ministries in 1986. And of course, it's skyrocketed from then on. How did Irvin Baxter know that? Because it's in the prophecies of the Bible. Well, in seeking to explain to you how we're in the end times, that's just one prophecy that was fulfilled back in 1989. Now they're coming to pass so fast right now that it's hard for actually us to keep up with all of them. They're just coming to pass one right after another every day. And so I just wanted to come and tell you, give you a little history about End Time Ministries, how it was actually started, and let you know that whatever the Bible has prophesied that will come to pass just before the second coming of Jesus Christ, every prophecy is either coming to pass, being fulfilled right now, has already come to pass, or we're seeing precursors to the prophecies that are just ahead of us. So I wanted to keep you up to date on what's going on, because we're not fixing to get into the end times. We're way into the end times. We're at the culmination of this whole thing, and it's all coming to pass right now before our very eyes. So you say, well, how can I keep up on it? Follow us on our Facebook page. Watch us on our television program. Follow us on our nationwide radio program that we've been doing for 15 years. Go to our website, endtime.com. Follow us and keep up to date with what's going on, because you need to be educated about what's just ahead of us in the end times. Thank you for watching. I'm Dave Robbins with End Time Ministries, and this is your Prophecy in the News.